Here we go again. But I have a new project. I know I said I was going to do the Granny Square blanket project, but because inspiration hit, and so it hit, and I have to do what it says, we are doing some pattern testing for Christmas. And I'm fully a Christmas person, but I am not a person who does much like seasonal decorations or stuff like that. So I don't like to fill my house with items that draw attention, are colorful, and are like all over the place. So I am more of a subtle person when it comes to decoration during holidays. And therefore, we are making a chart. I made a chart today. This is inspired by a similar design, which the pattern is drawn by making holes. And this is a very nice way of making single colored thing with some design on it, so you don't have to always do color work to do these type of things. And as I said, I wanted subtle things. This is the first try with the pattern. I will show you the chart is here. I'm sorry, it's not very good because I cannot make it any bigger, or I can make it bigger, but then you won't see it whole. But I made the chart this morning and it looked good, and now we are trying to recreate it. So this is the chart we're following, and I will publish it if it works. It looks as it should, and it seems like it's gonna look as it should. And we're gonna make a full set of things. So this one is gonna be a disc cloth because this is just one. What we're testing with is just one. 50 stitches wide. We're using in double crochet. And it's this is just a single square, so we're going to use this as a disc cloth. Then we will design a pot holder to go with it, a table runner to go with it, and a kitchen towel to go with it, where we will add multiple of these to make it a complete set. And if I should add something, just let me know. You can basically use this for anything. I have cotton yarn here, my basic go-to yarn with the French cotton 84 by Hobby. This is 100% cotton. Miss Florence SS, thank you for the follow. Nice to see you here. Hope you're good today. And you can make fun of me, but I have the millennial gray everything here. So I have this is silver, dark gray, and light gray, and white, which are gonna be the colors we're gonna go with. And one thing, hey, let's go back 1 2 4, happy birthday. So what I also thought is that instead of like doing the design with the holes in the work, you could also do a color change for the middle part if you want to, but we are keeping it very simple, and the chart is coming out as soon as I make sure that it is working as it should. And I will then come up with the rest of the patterns. It's very easy once you know how to do this. You can also multiply this to any direction you want to. So you can go sideways, you can go up and down, and just make sure you have 50 stitches to go. Crocheting, yes. So we have the yarn, which is the cotton yarn. This is a fine, super fine yarn, so we're using number 3 hook with this one. And yeah, why I like this is that the white ones you can wash in 90 degrees Celsius, and the colorful, it says 40, but I've been washing this in 60 with no problem. So yeah. And also says no tumble dry, but I also done that with no problem. And also ironing with 1 dot, and I've done 3 with no problems. So, but it's up to you. I always think that these are just precautions because or they maybe think that the color will fade or something like that, but it's 100% cotton, so I'm gonna treat it as cotton. So I use warmer washes if needed. And the white is brilliant for kitchen because you can bleach it if and when you are coming up with some stains. So this one is basically made with only a double crochet going back and forth, and we create the hole, which you can see here. We create that by using a chain stitch, chain one and skip one, so it will create the hole. And I have a white background. Maybe I have something I can put on the back so you can see it a bit better. No, I don't. But depending on the background, it will shine through. And if you want to make a backing to it, so decide that the background is going to be, for example, red, if you need a bit more Christmas, then you can do that. And you have a red backing and the red will show through here. So yeah, we are not even halfway through to this. I started just to not make fool of myself. So I wanted to do it a little bit to make sure that we are getting somewhere with it. And let's see. We are turning by chaining 2 every time we switch sides. And then we are just going double crochet all over, except the place where we want to make the hole. And this design is like, it's very usable in general. Like, it doesn't have to be this Christmas tree I'm doing now. I'm just getting ready for Christmas. Yeah, I also did a pumpkin one with the whole design because the Halloween season is one of those seasons as well that is very colorful, very crazy, and I wanted something nice, Halloweeny and subtle as well. So you can use this like whole design in anything you can come up with. Not very intricate work, but the main lines of basically anything. Let's get a bit closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. Thank you, camera. And I will... There's no increases or decreases with this one. Nothing like that. So it is a very easy one. So when you want to make a hole, and we're going to make a hole now, you just chain 1 and you skip this stitch and go to the next one and then double crochet to that one. And I would say that once you've made a couple, you will remember the stitches, and then you can just, you know, watch TV while you do this. It's one of the simplest things I've done this year, if not the very simplest thing I've done this year. But I had some gray yarn. I always have some, because these are the colors I buy to supplement my orders if I am not meeting the free shipping threshold. And that is because these colors can be mixed with anything, and I always come up with something I need, or something I need to test out. I've been thinking about maybe making a YouTube tutorial for this one. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna sell the pattern. I found too many similar ones, even though they were not the same ones. They were so similar that I feel like stealing, even if I'm not. So I'm gonna just make it be a tutorial, and there's gonna be... And I'm gonna send... If you want to do this, I can send you the picture of the chart. I have it here, but it is very hard. It's like... Because it's quite big and the screen is quite small, it's very hard to see. But I did that with Adobe Illustrator this morning, and it's still in the state of not ready, so I can change it if I need to, and sometimes I do need to. So if I have to make any adjustment, I can just pick it and do it again. but so far it's been perfect, and I've made so many charts that it is usually quite easy at this point to see if the chart I'm making is actually working or if it's not. But that is only for crochet, of course. I have no idea how knitting charts work, but for crochet I can do these charts and they will usually end up being as I want them to be. So this is 49 stitches wide plus the turning, so basically 50. But I don't count the turning, so it's 49. And you can multiply it. I was thinking about multiplying it upwards for the tape runner, so that the trees would be one on top of another one. First I thought I would make them side by side, but I don't think I can do this vertically, because I would have to create such a long starting chain, and that is never ever a good idea if you ask me. So we are going like this, in a bit out, in a bit out, and in again until, yeah, crochet, until we are at the top of it, and then we will add a couple of rows, just double crochet, so it is ready after that. I should have found a colorful background so you could see it better, because it is actually quite visible, so you can see it, see the holes. 1 and 2. This would make a very nice Christmas gift as well. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of giving Christmas themed things as a Christmas gift, but I know many people do, and I know many people like it. And because this design is not too overpowering, I can imagine that this could be used if one wants to around the year. So it is not necessarily so much Christmas. And it's funny how the season is getting forward so fast. I think I kinda a little bit skipped Halloween this year. I don't know. I had some projects for kids this Halloween, but those were not worthy of any videos or stuff like that, so they are not here in the channel. But I'm already moving on to Christmas, and that's mainly because the Christmas comes so fast. So now we are making a hole here because we are going inwards. So just a chain and skip one, and that's it, nothing more. So we are skipping this one and going to this one, and then we have a nice neat hole in the design. So this first one I am gonna use as a dishcloth for the series, and then I'm gonna make the table runner. It is so easy that I can write the pattern for all of the things right now, so I don't have to wait for myself to get ready with all of them. But I want to test them out, and most importantly I want to photograph all of them, you know, the real pieces. So I am gonna do this, and they say then I'm gonna do the table runner, which I'm gonna do with the darker gray because we have a light table. And then I'm gonna make a pot holder, which is basically the same as this, but it has another layer, just to make sure that the heat stays out of the table. And again we are making a hole, so chain, skip, and then next one. and this is very beginner friendly as well. So there's not many stitches. You only have to know the double crochet and chain stitches, nothing more than that. I'm gonna make a video where I will demonstrate how you turn in your rounds and how you make sure that you keep the correct amount of stitches. And the most perhaps important thing with this one is that you should practice your tension, so your tension stays the same, because if your tension is not the same, you will end up with different textures and different size of stitches around the work. But you can also, because there's no color changes on anything that would not the yarn, so you can do this as a practice for your tension. So if it's good, you can keep it, and if it's not good, you can unravel it and do it again as many times as it takes. So the design goes always 3 inwards, 1 outwards, 3 inwards, 1 outwards, and so on. So the next round we're gonna go one outwards with the whole, so we can have the outline of the 3. And if you want to do this, there is 3 here in the middle, representing the stump of the 3. And then there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes on this side and 8 on this side, and then you start going with the 3 and 3 and 3 until you meet in the middle. And if you meet in the middle, every calculation has been correct and your stitches are in the right place. If you don't, you've missed something. And it is highly likely that even I can be missing something. This is my first time doing this. I drew the chart this morning only. So this is our first try with this pattern altogether. I truly like it already. It's something I would put on my home for Christmas. And this is the classical. And I have to say that my household is not millennial grey in general. I'm a green person through and through, and I do like colors, except in glows. But this is a millennial grey project I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna keep my head up and be proud about it. And we are skipping one. And what makes this a very easy project is the fact that the stitch count stays the same through whole work. So no increase, no decrease, nothing like that. So you are good to go once you have created your foundation chain, and double check that you have the correct amount, then just go back and forth. No increase, no decrease, no special techniques, nothing like that. So very, very, very simple, effective, and beautiful way of working. What we usually use in our household in general are like well, dish towels, pot holders. Did I actually look at me? Look what I did. I made a mistake here. For some reason I added 2 holes. So now I have to go back. Dun, dun, dun. This happens. It is what it is. Especially sometimes when I talk and work at the same time. I get distracted by my own voice, my own thoughts, and then I just make a mistake. I made a chain stitch here. Apparently, yes. And now we'll do it again. This is not very labor intensive work, so it doesn't really matter. I still hate frogging anything. It feels so wasteful. But as this is 50 stitches wide and you usually notice your mistake in the next round, it's not much. If I don't notice the mistake next round, I will not go back. I am more of a chart person than I am a written instructions person, so I sometimes have to have some help with the written patterns to make them understandable, because for me they are not understandable in any form. I always wanted chart pictures, stuff like that, so I will have a person to test this out, and I will give them only the written instructions and see how they do with them. They will give me idea how to make them better. And then we are ready to put this out in the public, so you can have yours. Also, if you have some ideas, I think I could try out a star as well. Star is a bit tricky one because it's so pointy that sometimes it is not easy to have the star made out with holes. It mostly looks a bit stupid, to be honest, but I can try it out. Maybe a Christmas bell would be something I could be able to do. Haven't tested that one out yet. How much do you think you would likely pay for something like this as a chart? 1, 2, 3. And instructions. If you could have 3 to 4 different pieces based on the same design. Do you sometimes buy bundles like that? I don't buy too many patterns myself. I usually have my head full of ideas and I try to come up with my own. So I don't really know the cost of something like that. I've also given these for free, just in form of YouTube tutorial, because the watch time and the ad revenue from YouTube would be enough for me. So we're going back 1 now and then again 3 this way. We don't have many rounds left anymore. Then we can finish this and see if it looks presentable, and then we can move on to altering the pattern for bigger projects. I think you could use this as well in variables. Why not? At least blankets. Blankets would be very nice. A Christmas blanket. And we are skipping one. We are soon finishing this round, this row. And we can see how it looks now. I can check from the chart. We had 23 rows in total. So you could actually treat this as a Christmas calendar project as well, doing one row each day. And then it would be ready for Christmas. 1 and 2 for turning. This is what we have now. So the tree is coming together. I think this is a good size for this cloth. Maybe I would like it to be perhaps a little bit bigger. Maybe. Let's get back to it. So we can have it ready. I've done so much color work lately, and I've done the tapestries, which I've made yarn under. So it actually took me a couple of rounds to reteach my hands to do the yarn over instead of under. And then I have to redo it again when I start working for the tapestry, which is 120 rows done out of 300. So we're getting there as well with that one. And for the granny square thingy, I've done nothing with it since last time. But that's just how I circle my projects to stay interested. And I was supposed to do the granny squares today, but we have to skip one. But I didn't want to do it, and then this idea came to me while I was drinking my morning coffee. Took me an hour and a half about to have the chart together. I really hate that there's no like proper software to do the charts, that I actually have to do them by hand. I mean, it's not hard, especially charts like this with the Adobe softwares, but it's like it really is not necessary to have a full graphic design program to do so crochet charts, but it is what it is. I had one for tablet, but it was only meant for charts that were worked on rounds, like granny squares, like not rows but rounds. And that was the only thing it was good for. I made one with it as well, but I have to say that I didn't like it because it was only available to the tablet, and working these kind of things in computer, it's much more enjoyable than the tablet version. But I still like making charts more than making instructions. Also, taking pictures is something I don't excel in. So my instruction pictures are not as artisty as some others might have. But I try to get my point through anyway. I made so many crochet tops this year, but I realized that they are not used because it's getting cold again. One more row done. We are getting closer to the end. I was supposed to check in which row we are at. So we are where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Between 15 between the. So it is, that's 10. It is that one. So we are at row 15. We just finished row 15 out of 23. So we are here. It will not take us too much time to finish the whole thing. And then you can tell me what you think about it and if it's worth advancing to patterns. Give you a tutorial and the charts to make your own creations. And if you want to tell me what you're making for Christmas, I am happy to hear. Especially if you're making presents. Like if you are crocheting or knitting something for your family, relatives, friends, co-workers, whoever you're gifting this year. I'm also making a lot of socks because I realized that most of our socks are broken or almost broken, but they are nothing special because I make socks for use. They are just striped. There's nothing special about them. And now we're skipping one. Hey. Just a second, I need to give money for my daughter because she needs money. And I need Pepsi. Just a second. Money, 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 money. Don't do it. I don't think I have a choice. Money. You have 13 euros. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. There you go. Let's get back to it. Buy something for your little sister as well. Thank you. Yeah, so where were we? I don't remember. I was talking about something, but that's gone now, so sorry. Oh, it was about the Christmas present. And do you mean that you need something as well? If you do, you need to send her a message and make your order. This is row number 16. So there's 6 left. No, 7. My math is not mathing today. There's 7 left. And then we will have our first Christmas tree design done. I think it's looking nice at this point. I think you can say that that's a tree, and Christmas tree at that. And that's perhaps the point. It's a success if you can tell what it is. Row 17. Seventeen. And in this row we're going 1 stage backward. I'm not entirely happy of my outcome today. There's nothing to do with the pattern. Just me. So this one we will skip. What am I doing? I'm doing a Christmas tryout. This is a trial. Testing a pattern I did this morning. While I was drinking my morning coffee. And I decided that Halloween is over for me, crochet-wise, right now. And we are moving on to Christmas. Because we love Christmas. And I wanted to make my ugly kitchen a bit more beautiful, so we're making a kitchen set with dishcloth, pot holders, some towels, maybe a table runner. Whatever we can multiply this pattern to be, we will do. And then perhaps I'm gonna be doing an actual pattern out of this, not just the YouTube video, but an actual pattern. Because now I have the chart already, then I have to do the written pattern as well. Because apparently some people like the written instructions more than the charts, which is opposite of me. I hate if I find a nice design I want to do and it doesn't come with chart at all. It only comes with written pattern and then I don't like it. probably not gonna do it either, to be honest. The chart fits my brain better. It's the same with color work. Other people want to see the written, you know, make 3 stitches with red and then 3 with blue and so on, and I want to see the picture. It's easier for me that way. One more row done, and we're moving on to row 18 next. And now 18 is the row that will start the last part of the 3, so we will meet here. And then we will have the whole design. I think I need to block it as well. Now that we're going taller, I don't know if I should have gone like 4 in and then 1 out and then 4 in. If this is actually a little too little. If it just melts in like this one line rather than like this. Maybe I have to test one that I make like a bit differently. This is why it's called pattern testing. It looks good on the chart, but I'm not so sure it looks as good as I want it to look here right now in front of me. So we can modify the pattern and then check again if that makes more sense or less sense. It's not always better. More often than not, I end up going with the very first vision I have, because that ends up being the best. But we will see this through before we make any decisions. Okay, it is fascinating and you get totally addicted to it. But where you should start is absolutely YouTube. There is so much free instructions available in YouTube that you will definitely find something. But it depends what kind of person you are, what is the best place to start in general. Some people like to start with learning the stitches, and some people would more likely like to start with a complete easy project where you actually have an end product you are aiming for. Like me, if I try to learn something new, I want to have a complete project that is suitable for my non-existent skill level. But yeah, YouTube is the place to go. If I see something I haven't seen before while I work on these, like a stitch that I need clarification on, I'll go to YouTube as well. And that is also because crochet is not black and white, there's multiple ways of doing things. Almost everything you do can be done at least 2 different ways, usually more. And none of them is right or wrong, they're just different. Now I don't remember anymore which row we're in, but we're going towards the end of the project, which is gonna be the top of the 3, of course. I'm not sure if I like it. It's here and there. Like, yeah and no. I'm gonna have to do another version. And then when I see them side by side, I might end up thinking that this is actually better. We could go with the same amount of stitches. And just to do another one. I just have to calculate that the stitches will fit. And now it is row 19, so only a couple more. I love when the inspiration hits. I hope I can keep going on with this one for some hours. And do the other one. I just have to calculate that if I do it by 4, I will end up at the same place, which is not gonna happen, so I may have to add some stitches or reduce some stitches. Skip one. Or maybe the top of the tree will save the whole project and I will like it once it's ready. That has happened sometimes too. Should never look too much incomplete projects. Because it is the big picture after all that matters. What do you think? Can we talk about Christmas already at this point? I feel like September is a bit early because I found it a bit, let me say, weird to have all the Christmas chocolates and stuff like that at the stores already in September. But in October, I think it's starting to be alright. Especially if you are doing like project or something like that that needs to be ready for Christmas. You need time. And like I said, I don't do too much season specific stuff. Because I don't have any space to keep that stuff in. So for Christmas, we have a Christmas tree. And some ornaments, but that's about it. So I don't change all the textiles at my home. Because I don't have the place to keep those through the rest of the year. And if I had the space, would I do it? I like to say no, but I probably would. Hello, Estebrag. How are you today? I'll show you my new Christmas project. In a minute. Or second. Ta-da! It's gonna be a dishcloth. No more than that. But it has this subtle Christmas tree design going around here. not too Christmassy, but it looks like something I would do. In the classic millennial grey, of course. I'm fine today, off work. We had a huge, it wasn't a storm, but there was a lot of rain. And I mean a lot of rain, but now the sun is shining. And it is so warm that I do not need heating, which is always a money saver. But it's been like very crazy weather. It's October after all. And it's 17 degrees Celsius outside in Ireland. And that's like summer temperature. You don't need a jacket, of course for the rain you do, but in general you could just go out in a t-shirt on October and not be cold, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is round 20, I think. Yes. Out of 23. So this is second to last, where we have the design involved, and then we have a couple of rows plain double crochet. And then it's done. I will weave in the end if I don't decide to frog it and do another. And now we will skip one. This is literally, I think, the easiest project I've done this year. Like, you could, in one sitting, start and finish a project. I haven't done one of those in ages. Ages. Done so many wearables this year, then those always take time. I don't mind, that's not what I mean. Yeah. We are getting together. One more round of the tree. The kids came back home, so I am expecting my Pepsi Max to arrive in my room pretty shortly. And now we are heading to round 21, or row 21. Which will add one more up here, and then it is done. I think it's good. I think it's like working. I still feel like I should have gone with like 4. Maybe. I don't know. I will try that one as well. I will draw it up. I need to recalculate the stitches with that one. But I feel like this is blending in a bit like just one line, even though it was supposed to be like that. But maybe. I'm in between if I like it. Or I do like it, but if it's like how I want it to be. I will test another way as well. Maybe a third way as well. Because that's what one does when she's not sure how to go forward. That's why it's called pattern testing. Sometimes things look good in paper, and when you actually do them, you're not so sure. One thing I do know is that you have to be very clear on paper so that you can transfer that image to your work, but sometimes even that's not enough. If you try to make too small details, which is perhaps what I did here, it won't look like it does on the chart because you are working with yarn. And you have to also understand that even if you're very seasoned crocheter, there is a still difference between your stitches, so everything is not so uniform that you could just, you know, be sure that it's gonna work out. Woohoo! Give your kids some money. And they will do whatever they have to get it. Brilliant. I've had this cough like, I don't know, I think I've been saying for 2 weeks. For so long now that I think I've had it 4 weeks already. Let's skip that one. It was the last skip of this project. So after this row we have only 2 left. And then we will see if we will keep it or if we will frock it and adjust the chart we made. I have a feeling that I may have to adjust it somewhat. But maybe I will leave this one intact so I can compare them next to each other to see which one is actually working better. I think I could also use some ombre yarn for this project. Or at least you could, if you think that the grey one is a little bit too boring. a little bit too boring, then you could go with an ombre yarn with some Christmas colors, for example. Now it is just 2 rows, plain double crochet. Nothing special. Nothing is happening in these rows. Just adding like a border, which I also added at the start. So before I started the Christmas tree design, there's 2 rows of plain double crochet. And at the top there is 2 rows plain double crochet, and now it'd be 1 set 2. And if we were doing a project like that, we could just move forward with the next tree after this one. So we could just give 2 rows of double crochet between the trees, or we could have 4 if you wanted to replicate the design row by row, if that's easier to keep up with. That's something you could do. But like I said, for the table runner, I think I'm gonna do double the width. And maybe I have this one. So table runner, this is 22 centimeters before blocking, which equals to 8.5 inches. Then it would be 17 inches for table runner. Maybe that's a bit wide. 17 inches, yeah, maybe. So if I make a table runner with double 3, I could cut, I think, 3 double crochet from this side and 3 from this side, to narrow it down a little bit, and then do or if you like a narrow table runner, you can go with just one, which is 22 centimeters or 8.5 inches. With my yarn and hook, but yeah, you should do a test piece to see what you come up with, because it is dependable on the yarn you choose, the hook you use, and your tension and way of working in general. And we also met in the middle with the tree, meaning I didn't lose any stitches along the way. I'm a bit lazy to calculate, I must admit that, but I usually don't lose anything at this point anymore. So I'm a bit lazy. It's just that I have regretted it many times. And as a towel, I think I'm gonna make 6 of these. So 2 side by side and 3 on top of each other. So that would make it like 45 centimeter times 66 centimeters. So I think that's a very good size for towel, kitchen towel. And the pot holders I will do with the same amount of stitches. I think depending on how square we're gonna end up with this one right now, I don't know yet. According to my calculations, we should be quite near to a square when this is done, but if we're not, I can still shave something from either from the height or the width if necessary. So there is a border in each side and we can adjust that if we want to. It's one more. 1, 2, and turn. Should we make a border for this as well, like a proper border? And if yes, what technique should we use? I kind of like this one, but this is all, of course, straight. I don't know if it matters. I kind of like, maybe. Do I? Let's finish this, then we can contemplate what we're gonna do with the design after this. Part of it is done. I could have a border made to it, and that could also change the sizing a bit if necessary. So now, without any border, it was 8.5 inches, 22 centimeters. After this round, we can measure the height as well to see if it matches, or if we have to make some adjustments to the pattern we're building here. We are testing a pattern, so this is not I'm sorry, this is not something I've done before, or I don't think anyone has done this before. So we need to find a way to make it perfect in my eyes. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Not much left. So it is gonna be, this is timed, and I have talked most of the way through this. So if I do this alone, or if you are a very fast crocheter, you can have one done in just over 1 hour, which is not bad. Like if you make Christmas present or something like that, these dishcloth sizes would be optimal. Also means that if you want to make a kitchen towel, which would be 4 to 6 of these, it's a one-day project as well, if you have the patience, of course, to sit down and crochet 5 to 6 hours. And that's it. It's done. Excuse me. Let's lift the camera a little bit so we can see the whole thing. or at least most of it. I think I like it. What do you think? Once I block it, it will be a bit more refined as well. I think it's good. You know? Let's measure it. So the width was 8.5. Yeah, and the height is just 7. So what we will do, we will block it and see if that has any effect on it. But with this information, I will shave some stitches from this end. So I have 6 to spare on both sides. And I think I would maybe take 3 out of both of them. And that would make the width as well a bit over 7 inches as well. So I think that is a better starting point to have this as square as possible, just to make sure that when we multiply it, the whole thing, we can easily calculate the complete size when we're finishing it. So I will remove 3 stitches from each side, and yeah, that makes 43 stitches wide, and I can actually make one. I start making one right now, so we will cut it. And I will make a lighter gray one. We will have to weave in the ends as normal, but I will leave that to another day right now. And we also need to decide if we actually want to make a edge to it. I will keep this for now as a test piece, and we will see if we are gonna keep it or frog it to make it again. But we are now making one with 43 stitches, and we are leaving 3 stitches from both corners away because we ended up having more width than height, even though my calculation said they should be quite similar. And I don't want to add, the other option would be to add here and here, like start with 3 rows of double crochet and end with 3 rows of double crochet, but I don't want to do that because when we are doing the towel, I want to have as many of these designs in the towel as possible. So we are trying to find the smallest possible space we can make this in a way that it still makes sense. So we are starting, because I am thinking about maybe starting like at 3 here and then 3 here and then 3 here. So we will have to have very precise measurements on the width we need for one. So when we start doing more, we can calculate where we will start it and stuff like that. So yeah, first one is done. I think I'm gonna make a lighter, even lighter gray one, or darker, lighter, darker. I actually think I'm gonna make a darker one. Maybe the design will be a bit more visible in it. And 43 is what we're doing. I love the center pull easy starts they have in this yarn. It is so super easy. The first will come out a little bit of a tangle, but not too bad. Nothing like if I try to fist the center out myself. It's usually half of this skein is in my hand, and I still haven't found the starting point of the yarn. So if you want to jump in and you want to try to make one, I am starting a new one right now with Evelyn. Thank you for the follow. We are starting one now with 43 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, and then we need 2 for turning, so 1 and 2, and then we are gonna start our double crochet work, which is gonna be 2 first rows will be just double crochet, just like in the last one we did. So we only took away from the width of the work, so not from the length. And I'm not changing the design right now. I feel like I'm gonna go with this one. So we're making 43 double crochet. And I hate doing the first rounds. You always have to a little bit fish the stitches from the foundation chain. And after we've done the double crochets, I'm gonna perform the thing I don't do often enough. So we are gonna check and calculate. We have the correct amount before we move forward. Mispro35, thank you for the follow. It is so nice to see more people here in TikTok. We are making the first Christmas project for this year. We are doing some pattern testing for a Christmas tree design. And then now we are making our second one, because the first one didn't end up where we wanted it to be, so we are making one with a little less chains to start with. And if this comes out as we want it to come, we will use this as the base of our Christmas kitchen collection, which will have the dishcloth, pot holder, kitchen towel, and a table runner. And if we come up with something else, we can do that as well, but this is what we are starting with. I don't myself have any other kitchen textiles I could do, but if someone has, I want to hear about it, so we can create that one as well, with measurements, with charts, and with written instructions. I have the chart already done. I will now have to modify it because we are changing it. But not too much. We're not changing it too much. The tree will stay the same. There's difference of 6 stitches, no more than that. I think we need a little bit of light here. Good. Now we can see a bit better. The dark yarn is not so nice when it comes to finding stitches, so you might need a little bit of light yourself if you are working with a darker yarn. And at this point the work will also spiral like this. Don't worry about it, it will straighten up once we keep going. So you're not doing anything wrong, it's just the way it is. So let's calculate. We should have 43 double crochet. If we don't, we have to add or take away some. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 43. We have it all. And then we will chain 2 to turn around, and we will do another round, another row of basic double crochet, nothing more, to kick this thing going. Then I will visit my chart. I will calculate the new number of stitches before we start the holes and the design next row. So this is row number 2 out of 23. And row number 2 is basic double crochet. 1 for each stitch. I was also thinking about designing a hat, like an elf hat, because I have a certain thing in mind I would like to have, like buff stitches and stuff like that, but I have never done anything like that, so I would have to calculate very precisely the increases and decreases of a project like that. And maybe I can find something I can base it on. But I haven't so far found anything like what I want, like what I have in my mind. That will also be just one color, but different textures. That's the plan. And the 2 first rounds are the boring ones. And I also don't like the phase of the work where you don't have much to keep hold of. So your fingers get a bit tired because you have to pinch the work rather than keep it in your palm. And we are also timing the second one. It shouldn't make much difference. It's only like 3 3 stitches each side, so 6 altogether, so it's probably not going to be any faster than the previous one, even though it's a little bit smaller, but that's only a little bit. So the first rounds are done. Now we have to visit the graph I make just to check, because we used to have 1022 before the stump, so now it's only 19 because we are taking 3 out of it. So 19 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 15, and then 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we can chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. So 3 skips at this point. It will be the stump of the 3. So we are chaining 1, we are skipping this one, and then making double crochet to the next one. And then we chain again, we skip that one, and we double crochet to this one. And the third time the same thing. And these 3 holes are the stump. You can see here 1, 2, 3 at the bottom of the 3. More Pepsi. And then we will double crochet until the end of the round. And now that the stump is done, we're starting this row next. I think our road is opened again because I can hear cars now. It was closed for most of the day. There was a bad accident at some point, so they just closed the road. There's not many roads into our village. Luckily, I didn't have to go anywhere today. That naturally also means that there's no buses going around. But that's nothing new, to be honest. That's normal here. You cannot rely on a bus, which is sad, but unfortunately true. Right, now we need to check the chart one more time, and then we can go about our work, just because we remember the rest of the chart. But just these 2 rows, this one and this one, just make sure you have enough stitches here. So we had 6 here, so now we will go only with 3. So 6, so yeah, we will go with 3. And then we will start the tree design. So 1, 2 and 3, and then we will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chain and skip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we will recalculate. I have everything. I skipped everything I should be skipping. 1, 2, 3. Because we landed in a wrong place. According to my calculations, we should have landed 1 more to the right. Let's check the chart again. So yeah, we should have, and we do have. No, that's correct. That's completely correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is part of the 7 doubles we're gonna do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're again doing 8 times. 8 times chain, skip, double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then 2 more double crochets. Like that. So now we have done the 4 first rounds. And now we will start building the tree this way. So let's chain 2 for the turning. More yarn. We are still not making any color changes here. We are trying to perfect the actual design at this point. Then we can start worrying about the colors if we want to. Maybe that we don't want to. So we skipped 1. Just 1 this round for each end. And it will be at the same place as the second skip last round. So directly on top of it. And then we are making the double crochet each for each space between the double crochets and 1 for each double crochet. This is perhaps the hardest round of this very easy project. You have to make sure you have a double crochet for everywhere you need it to be. But you will see right away if you're not doing it correctly, it will show. So don't worry about it too much. If you do this, you can happily say that it's correct. Because if it's not, you will see it. And then the other side as well. The same thing. 1 double crochet for each chain and 1 double crochet for each double crochet. So we will keep the amount of chains the same all along the work. We're not dropping any, we're not increasing, we're not decreasing. It is very easy, but also make sure that you have them all. Because if you don't, it will be visible. This cotton yarn is not very forgiving. So unfortunately, all the mistakes you make, you will see. Take it as a blessing or a curse, as you wish. And we are skipping here again at the same point where we skipped the second time in the last row. And then we are finishing with the double crochets. If you're doing along, you can pause the video and check that yours look the same. So you have a hole here and hole here on top of the holes. You had second here. You have 3 here, 8, 8, 1, 1. And always chain 2 for turning. And now we will make a hole right next to the previous one, closer to the middle of the work than the outer side. So with this hole, we are crocheting 1 for the hole and 1 for the double crochet after it, and then we will do the skip. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet the next one. So here we get the third one in this line. 1, 2, 3. We will do the same on the other end. There's a lot of double crochet in this project, so if you are learning to crochet, this is a perfect project to make sure that your muscle memory will know double crochet while it is sleeping after a marathon. And especially if you're making a towel or a table runner, you will probably know this whole pattern in your sleep. Let's see if we get a bit better size for it. If it gets too small, then we need to add a row on top and bottom to grow it taller. And if it's good, then we just can keep going and design other things with it. As soon as we have the actual measurements of the finished Christmas square, then we are ready to move to the towel, the table runner, pot holders. Now this one we will skip, it's the third one. And then we will normally double crochet until the end of the row. And that was row number 6. And we are moving on to 7. One and 2. And if you are doing along, you can pause again, and this is what you should have at this point. So the bottom of the tree. And the 3 holes here, 1, 2, and 3. If it doesn't look like this, something has gone wrong, and you should find the mistake and make sure you don't do it again. I don't usually just unravel my work. I always try to first find where the mistake happened, what the mistake was, because if I just unravel and start again without understanding what I did wrong, I will probably do it again. Right, so row number 7. And this time we're making the skip on top of this. So not the first after the last hole, but the second after the last hole. So we go this way. And to skip, we chain 1, skip it, and double crochet the next one. Sorry for silence. I'm trying to little bit to save my voice because this freaking flu is killing me. Slowly but surely. The Pepsi helps a little though. I actually love pattern testing. It's because this is the part of the creative process which you get like instant feedback of what you are doing, like from yourself. So you do a design, then you test it, then you better it, then you do the design again, and then if you find something else to make better, you just do it. And usually I have like 4 to 5 revisions of a design, depending on where do I start. If it's based on one of my old ones, then I usually can get it right maybe second, maybe third time, but it is a brand new one like this one, then I have to give it a couple of revisions to make it as I need it to be and what I am aiming for, what we are looking for. But it is great to see that you make the first version and then you make a second one and the second one is already better. And then you come up with a way to make it even more better. I like that. So here's where we are after round 7. Check that you are at the same point. And then move on to row 8. Row 8 will take us, as we went inwards, row 8 will take us one step outwards before we start going inwards again. So therefore the skip will happen before the skip last round. And it will be directly above the skip from the round before the last one. Meaning it will, this hole is here from the round before the last one. So we will make at the same spot, chain, skip, and double crochet. So they are on top of each other, and if they are, you know it's correct. And the same one happens at the other end. We could measure the width of this project right now to see if we are achieving the target to getting closer to 7 inches than 8. Also, we have the same yarn but different color, so it might have an effect. It shouldn't, but it always might have an effect on the design. I've noticed that some colors actually have a very big difference, and that's for the granny project we've been doing, the sunburst blanket. I really notice that some of the colors are easier to work with than the others, and I have no idea why that is, but it just happens. So here we are making the skip in line with this one. This is last round, this is the one before it, so in line with this one. double crochet, skip, double crochet. And 2. And let's take a check again. So if yours look like this, you are in the correct path. So we now took the tree a little bit outwards, and now we start to go inwards again to have this shape. And that was round 8, and we're moving on to round 9. It's 23 rounds altogether, so it's not too huge of a project. I've already made one during this stream. This is the second one we're doing. And our streaming time currently is 1:51. So it takes a little bit more than an hour, but less than 2. So we are now at the skip from last round. After that we will make 1 double crochet, then we will make the skip of this round, skipping this one and going here like this. So we're again in line with the skip from the row before the last one. So like I said, once you've done it a couple of times, you will notice if you do the things in the wrong place. Maybe the first time I recommend calculating a bit more rather than going with the failing. But once you've done it, you already know it. You know how it works, where they go without calculating. Because I don't like to calculate, and I know you don't like either. So we are trying to avoid it as much as possible. When you start, you have to calculate, so things are starting to build from the right place up. But after that, once you familiarize yourself with the pattern, no need. No need whatsoever. And soon we will add a skip here. It's gonna be this one. So in line with this, again, the hole from the round before the last one, which is gonna be this one. So chain, skip, and then just keep going with the double crochet until the end of the round. And the last one. And then we will chain 2 and check the status where we should be at the moment. So here we go. It's starting to look like a tree already. So if yours look like this, good. If not, again, locate the mistake. Make sure you know what caused it. then unravel and get back to it. That's all you can do. Round 10. If you want the chart for this one, send me a message in TikTok or Instagram. You can find my handles in the bio of my YouTube. There is a link tree which you can use to find all my socials. Skipping on all my socials, so you can send me a message. I can send you the chart if you want to start now, because it will take me some time to actually finish the pattern itself. But this part, if you are even intermediate crocheter, you can use this technique to finish many of your projects, whether they are wearables or if you like making pillowcases or something like that. This we will skip the next one and keep going with the double crochet until the end of the round. So the only thing to actually like keep an eye on is the placement of the skips, to make sure you have them in the correct place, so that the outline of the tree will start to build as it should. Or if you're making using this technique to make any other shape, it's the same thing. If you don't hit the correct spot, the shape will not be. And 1 and 2. And let's check. Finish round at your own pace. I did an extra hole here. I know you don't see it, but for some reason my hand did a chain here as well. So we're going back a little bit. Don't know what happened. Must have been my brain. Yeah, we did a chain there for some reason. It also happens. I make a lot of mistakes, so I've learned to not care about them in general. The only thing I've learned to hate is the fact that if I don't check for the mistakes and then I find the mistakes like 10 rounds after I actually made it, that makes me angry. Therefore, I always put down my work. Like, if not after every round, almost after every round, just to be sure. And now it's gone, and we can move forward. The next round is also one of the rounds where we will go outwards. So we will align the skips with these ones. And this will be as much as 11. So we're halfway done. Almost. If you have a good crochet hooks, you would like to advertise that are the best ones you've ever used, I'm happy to hear that, because this one is absolute complete shit. To be honest, I'm so mad at this hook. And I have a whole set of these. The handle won't stay, so it keeps slipping away, and then I have like... And I have to push it back, but it's very tight, so it actually hurts a bit to push it back. But yeah, and every single one of them from this set does it. And why I ordered it is that I wanted golden ones. Don't ask me why, I just wanted it. Makes no sense, and it's supposed to not make any sense, but I'm regretting it now, because these are not nice. Or if you have any tips or tricks to keep it in there, because most of the time I see tricks for removing your hook from the handles, but how to keep it there, that's a different one. Maybe I just glue it. I don't know if glue works with, like, this is silicone handle. So round 11. And we are going outwards with the skip stitch. To maintain the shape of the tree, Christmas tree to be more precise. Though it is associated with Christmas, but I think that this design is so subtle that you could use it year round if you wanted to. At least back in Finland we have these particular trees, and they do not only appear during Christmas, they are in the forest around the year. So it's not just Christmas tree. I do not know what they call this tree in English though. I may have to take this technique also to try and replicate a gift. So I want to try it out. Don't know if it works, if it's a plain enough design, but I think I want to try it. So a gift box, wrapped up gift. Another round has been done, so let's check the progress. If your work looks like this. If not, as per usual, locate the mistake, know what it is, unravel and redo. Round 12. Now we are over halfway done. Then we will do some measuring, some comparison. Maybe we'll have some ideas what to improve. And if we do, we'll do the improvements and then we'll test out the next one. Probably not in this stream though anymore. I have to go and cook for the family as well. But tomorrow maybe? I have an evening shift, which means that I do have time tomorrow. the whole morning to do whatever I see fit for myself. I kind of like evening shifts these days. It's nice to have the house for yourself while everyone else is working and going to school. Just not too often, because then I start to feel lonely and I get out so late that everyone is sleeping when I get home. But I'm so hyper after work that it will take me at least an hour to wind down to be able to sleep. So then I'm sitting on the sofa downstairs doing nothing for an hour because I don't want to make too much noise so that everyone else can sleep. I'm like tired but hyper, so sleep doesn't come, but I don't have energy to do anything productive at that point. So it's time for skip almost. That's just all of this round is just one skip and each end. So one for each side of the tree. No more than that. So it's gonna be this one. So chain, skip, and then just keep going with the double crochet. Let's just keep going with it. I'm gonna make some chili today. Chili sin carne. Because I'm trying to cut down the red meat usage. Not that, well, I would probably be a vegetarian if I didn't have other people eating meat in this family, but it's getting expensive, the meat here. Like a bit too expensive, to be honest. And that round is done. Check time. I think it's more visible with this darker color than it was with the lighter one. The shape, for some reason. Don't ask me why. Round 13. And time for the skip. I made this so much today that now I'm getting bored a little bit, to be honest. It's the same all over and over again, which is normal at this phase of any new project I'm coming up with. The testing is, well, you have to repeat it multiple times. It is what it is. but I still don't like it. Skipping. Then I can just copy paste the tree pattern to a bigger canvas. So if you start to build your like table runner or your towel, you can just use that as a calculation. I like the charts because it is easy to check the repeat of the pattern. 1 and 2. Status check. That is looking neat. There's not much left. Then we will have one more finished. We can check the differences. I already know that this darker one is better than that lighter one was. It looks more or better proportioned, and the color is also more fitting. As you can see the design better. I still might go with maybe a black packing for the lighter one, so the black would be shown through here, but not completely sure yet. That's also part of the testing process. I will have some black fabric and I will see if that works. And I also have even more light gray that I need to test out. That might be too light for this type of design, and I think I have to abandon the white plan altogether now that I'm looking at these two. And I see that the darker is working way better than the light one. Or I will have to have a different color background for it. Like if I make the pot holder, I could make this gray as the upper layer and maybe white as the layer below. And those two could fit in well. Because for pot holders, you have to make at least 2 layers to make sure that the heat stays out of the surface you are protecting. So 1 layer is not enough, especially with this quite thin cotton yarn. So you will have to have another layer, at least another one. I might make a 3rd one as well. Maybe. And then I might order some Christmas colors as well. I don't use much colors, bright colors. I use a lot of colors, but my colors are more like muted in general. The colors I like, the colors that are in my home, they're more peaceful. And then skipping this one and going with this one. But for the sake of the instructions, I think I should go and buy some Christmas yarn to make this more appealing. And then I can donate them or give them as a Christmas present to people if they want them. I am not in a habit of giving presents to people that don't want them. And we are coming to an end, and then we can have a yet another status check, see how it looks and how it should look. Especially in the phase of pattern testing, I will check my work after every round. We are getting there. We have managed to stay on track. So let's keep going. We don't have much left. Let's put the yarn in correct place. So we're getting to closer and closer to the top of the tree. I think I also will have to make a something. I was thinking about like a maybe a leather type of leather, strip of leather or something to have this hang from any hooks you have in your kitchen. Or I will crochet it. I am not sure yet. That is also part of the process where we try to make this pattern to be perfect. We have the basics down, I think, after this one, but then the work just starts from there. Let's skip it. And this one. Like the details matter, like for example the edge. If I'm doing an edging for these, and do I have to do the edge for similar for every single one of them for the set to look complete, or can I just go with a different edging for every one of them? Should I go with just single crochet all around it? Would that be the best actual thing to do? Actually, our music seems to have stopped. That's boring. Let me do it again. Music! Let's do this. The music is nothing special, but it was so silent that it felt weird. Skipping that one, going to next one. Nope, 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 nope. I was supposed to go inwards. I went outwards. I was supposed to be skipping here. And as I said, once you get used to this, you will notice when you make a mistake. You think you won't, but you will. It felt wrong, like something was wrong. Chain, escape. And here we go. Now we are in the correct place. Yep. So we're finishing this round as well, and we can have a tiny status check again to see where we're at. And to see that everything looks correct. Like this. I do like the darker one more. That one I can say right now, right here, that the darker one is the one that I actually like more. The color of this I like more, but for this design this works way better. Way, way better. To the next round. We don't have many left. So we're gonna just like a bit of a speed run this to the end so we can have our end discussion with the designs to see if we are on the right track of this project. This is a great way to more deeply understand how the process of designing crochet pieces actually goes. At least for me, it includes a lot of crocheting, because even though you crochet a long time and some yarns may be like you know them and stuff like that, but if you go with brand new things you haven't done before, you will have to test it out multiple times. And this is also the reason why most of the designers ask people to try their patterns before they go public with them, because at some point you actually become blind to it yourself. You think it's all good and clear, but of course it is good and clear for you as you made it. So therefore I do actually recommend giving you patterns to be tested by different people. Some people also explain things differently than others with words. And that is also why I like charts more than written patterns, because charts are charts. So you don't really have to think about if the next, what does the phrase skip next stitch mean to a different person. Or is the last round like last round or last round? And that's also the reason why I try to involve chart every time possible with my videos and instructions. We are 2.5 hours almost done. This will be under 3 hours for 2 pieces, which is not bad at all. So if you like thinking about like Christmas present, so this pair of this cloth is under 3 hours. If you are a bit slower, I could still promise under 3 hours. And if you are faster than me, which is highly possible, I'm not a speed crocheter, you could probably do this under 2 hours, so under an hour for one of them. So this was round number 16. And we have 7 rounds to go, and then we're finished. This will be the last one where we go back with the skip outwards, so towards the edges, not the front, and then we will go all the way to the top of the tree. Then we have a couple of rounds just double crochet. And then this piece is also done. And once this is done, they are done a bit differently because we are test driving the pattern. And we will see which one we like more, which one makes more sense, and which one has the measurements we are after. And then we will continue with that. And we will start designing more. Actual products with it. So after this one, I'm gonna make the table runner. That's the biggest one, which will take me the most time to make as well, of course. And then the towel, which will be, I'm thinking at the moment it will be 2 times 3 of these, but I'm also thinking about maybe assigning the 3 into the towel more randomly. That was that, so skip. Like not just one in every corner, but one every now and then somewhere in the work. So that it wouldn't be so structured. And I think I'm gonna also go and test out if I am able to make it with white, because the white would look pretty on a wooden table, but it won't look pretty here where I also have a white tabletop. But I want to test it out as well. If I can have a good picture of it, then I can use it. If I can't have a good picture of it, then it makes no sense. This is where we know. So one more stretch here, then we're done. So we're going inwards until the tip of the 3. And if the 3 is successful, it means that we haven't lost any stitches and we have completed our work correctly. I am not one huge person to calculate stitches. I hate that. Sometimes I do have to say that it's a mistake to not calculate, so I encourage every one of you to calculate, if not every round, then often enough anyway. I need to do the skip. Almost forgot. And I would say that the yarn would, one skein of yarn would go pretty far. I don't have a scale here, so I don't know how much I've taken from it, but it's not deflated much. So I'd say you can make at least 4 of these out of one skein of yarn. So the towel would be 1.5 skein and table runner, depending on how many you wanna, how long you want to have it. That was supposed to be skip. I also need to have very good pictures of the collection once it's finished. Because I've noticed that I lack skills when it comes to photographing items, merchandise. Merchandise. Well, you know what I mean. And I feel like my YouTube thumbnails need a bit better pictures. Mm-hmm. 1 and 2 for turning. Status. This is what we have at the moment. We have 1, 2, 3 rounds of the 3 left, and we have 2 rounds of double crochet, and then that's it. I am happy to say goodbye to this for now and move on to the next design phase, which will be the big products. I will write down the instructions for this, then I will do a couple of charts, because of course when you do a design like this, if you just make a bigger design with this picture, you're just gonna double it, but if you want to put multiple in, it just repeat. So it is pretty easy to multiply the pattern to be a whole collection. It is also okay to do the charts, like not too bad. It's mostly copy paste and resize. And the skip. If we do not meet in the middle, that will be the end of stream, because that will make me angry. Which reminds me that I'm out of butter. Maybe I have to pop onto the store as well. Angry and hungry, you know, they're quite close. Just double crochet to the end of the round. Make sure you use every stitch so you don't end up losing any stitches. And I will also block these two to see if that has any difference when it comes to the sizing and how they will end up looking like. Maybe I even wash them. Just to get the whole picture. I don't want to give any bad instruction to people. Looking good. I was afraid that I have to change the design to have more distinct like branches of the tree, but with this darker one it looks just right. So I don't think I'm changing it. I just have to see if it's just a project with darker yarn or if I have to add some accents or color changes or something to the lighter one to make it pop out as well. This is, we have 4 rounds left. This is the number 4, so 3 after this one. Now we will skip one, so chain, skip and double crochet the next one. And then just do double crochet, and then we will skip again because we're so close to the end. So only one skip next round, and that's the top of the tree. And it seems like we actually made it. So we will meet in the middle. This is the last point that will tell you if you made mistakes along the way, is that if you don't line up at the end, there is a mistake in the stitches somewhere along the way. But again, second time today we are aligning up. Last time we didn't with the granny square. I ended the stream because I fucking lost it. Like, seriously lost it. It was annoying. My own fault, of course. But it's still annoying. Doesn't change that fact. If you notice your mistake so late, that your work is kinda ruined. But you will not see it before you start to put the thing together. Happened with the Hexy cardigan once. I just kept going and didn't just fold the right way at any point. One more here and that's it. So 3 rounds. You could make this out of green as well. I didn't have any green yarn at the moment. I've used it all. Maybe I have some green actually. I have to check it. I think it's a thinner, even thinner yarn. Yeah, I know, I use thin yarns. I like it, how they look. Except if I'm making a chunky cardigan or something like that, then I take a thicker one. But I like the look and details of a thin yarn. I can admit that. Almost the last one. Just a little bit more. I want to finish this during the stream if someone is crazy enough to watch it all the way, trying to recreate it, that there's an actual end to it, and they do not disappoint themselves. Though I am planning, as soon as I have this design like completed, I will make a YouTube video of it, like a proper instructions of doing it. But I am a bit hungry, to be honest. I have to make my chili. Or finish it. It's mostly made. A lot of beans. I have black beans and red beans and some third one. I don't remember anymore. But I love beans. One and two for the turning. Ta-da! The tree is ready. Now we'll speed run 2 rounds of double crochet and then we will go through the sizing compared to the previous one. To be honest, looks better. The measurement will tell me that. And I also don't feel like this Christmas design is too Christmassy. Because I can't start too early because then I'm fed up with the whole Christmas before October ends. And I don't want that because I actually like Christmas. I also think that this year I might buy some Christmas lights. I don't have electricity outside available, so I will have to buy something that is used with batteries. And that has been something I didn't want to do before. Or maybe something solar powered, but it's a very short amount of time we have sun in our front yard. Like very short. Especially during winter. So yeah, the last rounds are boring. I am so sorry. I'm just gonna go through it so we can have the actual measurements of this work. And to see if we have to make a third revision. Because that might also happen. I might have deducted too many. And now it's a complete mess. Or I've deducted the correct amount and it's okay. Chain 2. And one more. Then we're done. Then we are done. Then we have finalized the actual work. I can have a cup of coffee, finalize my chili, eat, and enjoy the evening. Now I will send you some photo updates tomorrow regarding the rest of the design. We will go back on live on the weekend probably and see if we can show you some products that are actually ready. I am aiming for the table runner after the pot holders and so on, so we are trying to finish a complete set early enough to be able to have the instruction videos out for you and the PDF patterns so you can download them and you can make your own before Christmas, because this isn't too time consuming, but if you want to finish the whole set of things for your kitchen, you need more than a week. So I'm trying to be fast with it. I started a bit late, but I didn't want to think about Christmas before October. Start to finish. We've done this one. Maybe we can do next live another one and you can take your yarn and your hook with you. Pick a yarn. I have a yarn that is suitable for number 3 hook. And it is cotton, so please don't make pot holders with anything else than natural fibers. Please do not make acrylic pot holders. I'm asking you. They will melt. Also no blends. You can never know how they behave. Choose cotton for pot holders. Just making sure. Let's cut the yarn. This looks more square than the last one. So I think we have nailed now the amount of stitches we need for this work. So it will be, this width is 7.5 and the height is almost 7.5. So I will block it to see the final measurement, because I can quite easily make it 7.5 here. But I think this is the closest we can get and it's good enough. So the previous one was a bit too wide. So we took away 6 stitches, which it seems that that's the correct amount to take off. Now we have a square. This is maybe a bit too small for this cloth. What do you think? Yeah. So for this cloth design, we may add something, but for now, this is our base for the rest of the designs. And this is what we will go with. And I will update you once I get further along what we're gonna do with each of the designs. And yep, you will hear me latest. I think on Saturday we have next live scheduled. And during that live, I decided I'm not making any promises anymore. So during that live, we do whatever I feel like doing at that point. Or you can request the project that I have underway if you want to see a certain one. This one will be an actual pattern once it's ready, and I will share it with all of you. And yeah, the tapestry is coming along quite fine actually. I have just passed 120 rows, which means that we are closing the halfway mark, and that one also needs to be ready before Christmas because it is a Christmas present. And our granny square project hasn't moved since we last talked, so I have third of it done approximately. This will need a lining, so we will add that as well as soon as we have more of it done, but this is waiting. This is just a scrap yarn project, so it's not a gift or anything, so we are doing that in between our projects. And this one, I like the effect. This one we will continue making at some point with the dishcloth, pot holders, kitchen towels, and a table runner that will be made out of this pattern we're building at the moment. So thank you for being here, and we will be back on